I recently got a request to paint Hestia from Danmachi, so today let's paint her. Hestia has dark gray hair. It's not purely black and it looks really smooth. So I think a good thing to practice when I'm painting her is to see how I can paint smooth, dark gray hair with a lot of shine. But before we get to that, let's finish painting the skin first. Because her hair is dark, so it doesn't matter if I paint the skin color over her hair. It'll be covered anyway. Her top is white, so I have to be careful here to paint around the edges of her dress. In front of her chest, she has a bow. The bow is like a royal blue. It's gonna be a very saturated color, so I think it's okay even if I paint a bit on top of it. Her chest is not showing too much, but I still want to leave some highlights here. I think I painted all her skin. Now it's much easier to see what she's like. The face looks pretty dark now relative to the skin on her body, but I think it's because the body color is too light. I'm gonna strengthen it in the next layer. For her face, once I put on the dark hair color, it'll look just about right. I need to wait until her skin color dries, so I'm gonna paint her hairpiece first. Her hairpiece looks like it's fabric. It's a light blue with a hint of purple. Let's test out the color. Color looks about right, but it's a little bit too dark, so just need to dilute it with a little bit of water. I think I get the right color. The edge of the ribbon is a royal blue. So I'm mixing azure, ultramarine light, and a hint of violet light to get to this color. All right, now we have the color, we can actually paint. When you mix two colors together, sometimes it separates. It looks really pretty. Her eyes are blue, so I'm using the same mix I used before. I think I can paint the hair now. Her hair is black. Usually I use lunar black or peach black to paint black hair. But I also have some other neutral colors I want to test out to see if I can expand my options when it comes to black hair. So from Daniel Smith, I have lunar black and black tourmaline genuine. Both are granulating. From Reuben, I have neutral tint and peach black. And I just got this M.Graham neutral tint. This is a lunar black I usually use. Really nice granulation. This is Daniel Smith black tourmaline genuine, but it looks like a little bit too green. This is peach black from Reuben. It's a super strong, high tinting black. Sometimes it looks like ink. This one is Reuben neutral tint. Definitely too blue. And lastly, the neutral tint by M.Graham. Oh, it has like a purple tint to it and then go pretty dark. So I think it will be a really good color for Hestia because her eyes are blue and she has the blue accents on her hairpiece and her clothes. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with the M.Graham neutral tint. I'm going to start from her right ponytail. I'm keeping the edges wet so it doesn't leave a watermark when I connect the shapes. So now I have brought this shape down, I can do some broader paint strokes. Now I can paint her head. I'm starting from the back of her head. Well, because I can move from left to right so I don't smear it later when I paint her bands. Because this is kind of in the back, I don't think the highlights needs to be that bright. So I'm blurring it with some water. Just bringing down this hair color to make some backgrounds because her dress is white. So it'll be nice if the dress can pop more on a darker background. I really should have painted this piece of hair first. Now it's kind of hard because I can't really touch the paper. Well, I could wait until the paper dries, but I just want to paint it to see what it looks like. Her hair overall feels very round and smooth, so I'm trying to use the shape to make it look like that. So this is what the hair looks like after the first wash. I'm gonna let it dry before I touch up or add any details and before I paint her clothes, because this side is soaking wet. I can't put my hand anywhere. As expected, her skin color looks really washed out now, so I'm strengthening it. I'm adding shadow to her forehead. They're the shadows created by her bands. Good thing about this paint, this neutral tint by M.Graham, looks like it's not very easily lifted. So when I use a shadow color to paint around these hair, even if I touch the hair, it doesn't bleed into my shadow paint, so my shadow color can stay clean. So this is really handy. I'm glad I used this color. If I use lamp black, on the other hand, it's gonna be totally different story because I have to be really careful to paint around the hair and not touch it. Otherwise, my shadow will be a mess. Now I'm adding some details to her hair. Because of the watermarks here, I don't need to do much at all. Maybe I'm just adding a little bit sharp edges to define the overlapping. At the same time, I can also create some shadows on this hair ornament. From the anime, it looks like this is a hollow piece, so I'm adding this dark area here to indicate the depth. Hestia's hair has more of a blunt edges than really thin pieces, so I'm trying to not to have those pointy ends when I draw the hair. But I also want to pay attention to these separations, so this way it creates some depth. So here I try to cover up the dry brush mark I made in the first layer, because overall I want to create a really smooth look for her hair. The dry brush mark is a little bit too much. I'm done adding details to her hair. This is what it looks like now. I just need to paint her clothes and finish up her facial features. For her clothes, I mixed up a ultramarine light and some lamp black, so this will be the shadow color. Because her dress is white, I'm going to only paint the shadows. The granulation created by the ultramarine blue is really pretty. I think it looks really nice on fabric. Because the light comes from this side, so I'm putting most of this side in shadows. To make her white dress pop, I'm going to add a little bit of negative painting for the background. Well, I like using diluted hair color for the background because it's definitely will be cohesive. I'm just putting it wherever I want her dress to pop. I haven't put in the bow yet, but since it's gonna be a blue, I think I better put in the shadow created by the bow first, so it doesn't get smudged if I paint it after. Also painting in the shadows created by the ripped pieces of her dress. So is her dress a ripped dress? If you know, let me know in the comment. Now the hair is done, so I can finally put in her eyelashes. It's gonna make her eye really pop. A tip to paint really fine, really thin lines of eyelashes is you can paint backwards. You can start from the end of the eyelash and go back into this line, this thick line. Then it'll be really easy to control. And a rigger is really helpful for this. Darken her lips a little bit. By the way, I've been using neutral tint from M.Graham for eyelashes and the shadows in the eye. It's becoming my new favorite color. So handy. All right, I need to put in her eyebrow. I think it's around here. We're almost done. I just need to put in the bow. She has a ribbon tie on her arm. I completely forgot about it. She also had this piece over here, although it's covered under her hair. I'm still gonna paint a little bit of it. Pretty much done. I just need to add some highlights, definitely in her eyes. A little bit in this one. I feel I didn't add enough highlights to her hair this time, so I'm gonna just add some with the white gouache I have. So this is the finished painting. If I were to criticize it myself, I would say I didn't leave enough highlights in the first wash for her hair. Because in this painting, what I really wanted to practice is how to use a black or a gray paint to create those soft and smooth locks. But I did leave too much of dry brush mark here and here, which doesn't really go well with this section. So basically, I think this section is what I'm really looking for, and this section, and over here. And also this part is not bad. Over here, there's a little bit too much dry brush marks. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.